The year was 1908. Japanese chemist Dr. Kikunae Ikeda was dining on a vegetable and tofu soup his wife had prepared. He wondered what made it taste so yummy. Mrs. Ikeda provided a clue. She used kombu, a form of dried seaweed, to give the broth a meaty flavor. Intrigued, Ikeda took the soup to the lab and after evaporating the water content managed to crystallize a substance that turned out to be glutamic acid, a compound that had been known since 1866 when German chemist Karl Heinrich Ritthausen had isolated it after treating wheat gluten with sulphuric acid. Due to its origin, gluten, he had named it glutamic acid. When Dr. Ikeda tasted his isolate, he was struck by the distinct flavor, which wasn't exactly sweet or sour, or salty, or bitter. He dubbed it umami, derived from the Japanese word for delicious. Ikeda recognized the compound's commercial potential and patented its production. By 1909, the Ajinomoto Company was making glutamic acid from gluten and neutralizing it with sodium hydroxide to yield monosodium glutamate, or MSG. By the 1930s, extracting glutamic acid from soybeans turned out to be more viable, and then in the 1960s, it was discovered that the bacterium, Corynebacterium glutamicum, was able to convert sugar into glutamic acid, making this fermentation process the most efficient way to produce monosodium glutamate. Already in the 1930s, American food processors realized the benefits of improving the taste of processed foods by adding MSG. And then in 1947, MSG became available for cooks to flavor food in home kitchens with pure MSG that went on the sale as accent. The MSG bandwagon happily rolled along until it came to a screeching stop in 1968 when physician Dr. Robert Holman Kwok, who had come to the US from China, wrote a letter to the New England Journal of Medicine in which he described a strange syndrome he experienced whenever he ate in a Chinese restaurant. The editors gave the letter the unfortunate title of Chinese Restaurant Syndrome. Kwok described numbness at the back of the neck, gradually radiating down both arms and the back, general weakness and palpitations that begin about 15 to 20 minutes after eating the first dish, and these resolved some 2 hours later with no lasting effect. Dr. Kwok suggested a number of possible causes, among them cooking wine, soy sauce, high sodium content, or monosodium glutamate. The press jumped all over this, popularized the term Chinese restaurant syndrome, oblivious of the fact that glutamic acid occurs naturally in many foods, including Parmesan cheese, mushrooms, and tomatoes. Articles about Kwok's letter in newspapers resulted in people reporting that they too experienced symptoms after eating foods with MSG, precipitating a massive anti-MSG movement. A number of double-blind studies failed to implicate MSG as a criminal, but did suggest that a small percentage of the population may have a sensitivity to very high doses of MSG. Still, the fear about MSG persists and Chinese restaurants are unfairly targeted. In 2016, famed chef and food historian Anthony Bourdain put it well. I think MSG is good stuff. You know what causes Chinese restaurant syndrome? Racism. Bingo. And that, for today, is our Cup of Joe with no MSG.